The other week, I spoke about why central bankers and, for the most part, most commercial bankers cannot be trusted, and why the people that trust them always lose. And in fact, after a Swiss national banker said that they will do whatever it takes and everything possible to keep the Swiss franc pegged at 1.20 to the euro, and then reneged on that promise just a month later. And it caused a hedge fund to basically blow up from almost $1 billion in assets to almost nothing. Um, this point is a really important point to really hammer home, because the propaganda is so strong by central bankers. A lot of people miss out on this point. So I'm going to talk about this very point today. And in fact, okay, there was something that came up where Mervyn King, who was a former head of the Bank of England, which makes him untrustworthy to begin with, he said, quote, I'm going to read this: "We have had the biggest monetary stimulus that the world must have ever seen, and we still have not solved the problem of weak demand. The idea that monetary stimulus after 6 years is the answer doesn't seem right to me," end quote. Now, a lot of people came out and said, hey, look, even the bankers are admitting that what they're doing is not working. You know, you hear that a lot of time. It's just like, hey, the the war on drugs, if I can speak. The war on drugs is not working. Of course it's working. It's working to do exactly what the people in power wanted to do. Like, the war on drugs is not supposed to clean up all the and get rid of drug addicts, because it depends upon the drug addicts to feed the machine and to make sure the people running that machine get filthy rich. So the war on drugs is designed to make the bankers and the politicians filthy rich. It's not designed to get rid of drug addiction from a society. It's not designed to ensure that your children never do cocaine and heroin and get hooked on speed or Molly. That's not what it's designed to do. It's designed to make certain people rich, and that's what people miss. They totally miss the point. So they think, oh, let me go to the U.S. Federal Reserve's website. It says our mission is price stability. So that's what these bankers really want to do. It's a joke. They're laughing in your face if you believe that, because only the extremely naive would believe what these bankers say is their purpose. Their purpose is to make themselves, to ensure that a fraudulent global Ponzi banking scheme exists that they can manipulate to make themselves filthy rich at the expense of everyone else in this world. Now, you would know that's true if you looked at recent statistics by Oxfam that, for instance, said that 1% of the world is not going to own the same amount of wealth, they said, in a couple of years as the whole entire rest of the world. So 1%. Now, it's not even that 1%. I think it's closer to 0.1%, because we all know the richest people in the world are bankers, and they don't publicly report their assets, nor do they pay any taxes, which is where these public records are coming from, that the 1% are going to own as much wealth as the richest 1% are going to own as much wealth as the rest of the world. Now, I'm saying it's closer probably to 0.1%, because again, the central bankers, the people that own the private central banks, don't pay any taxes, because they own the taxation agencies, they own the legislators, they own the military. So who is going to come after them if they don't pay taxes? And in fact, David Rockefeller even once said, he said in a speech to Congress, he says, you know, gentlemen, that I do not owe any personal income tax, but nevertheless, I send a small check now and then to the Internal Revenue Service out of the kindness of my heart, end quote. Now, I know there are a lot of, actually, I didn't have time to go verify that quote. You know, that quote's floating around the internet. I know there's a lot of quotes from a lot of people that actually turn out just to be paraphrases, or sometimes not even true. So if anyone knows that quote not to be true, please do comment, let me know below. So, but I did find it on the internet, just haven't had time to verify it, and they said that was in his testimony to U.S. Congress. So we know these guys don't pay taxes, or if they do pay taxes, it's a fraction of what they truly own, because they hide all their assets in other entities outside of their own family name, or in other jurisdictions offshore, where it won't be taxed. So we know that nobody knows who truly the wealthiest people in the world are, and except you do know that there are people that own this central banks. So if we look at these stats, the other stat was something like the 80 most wealthiest people in the world now own as much wealth as the half of the rest of the world, the bottom half of the rest of the world. So they own as much wealth as 3.5 billion people. That 80, again, is probably closer to 30 or 20 people, because it's only by public tax records. And then in America, you have like 0.1% now own of the wealthiest own as much wealth as 90% of the rest of Americans. So again, that's 0.1%. The true reality of that statistic is probably, like 0.05%, maybe half of that. Instead of 0.1% is probably 0.05% or something crazy. So, the reason why that is, it's not because these bankers are smarter than you. It's not because they went to Harvard and got their MBA. As they want you to believe, like Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan will say, the only way they're smarter is they're smarter criminals. They're smarter criminals than everyone else. That is it. Because if you think that, there's like 50 people or 30 people or 20 people that are smart, they have the same amount of wealth as 3.5 billion just because they're smart. Or, you have the 0.1% of this world have the same wealth as the rest of the entire world just because they're smarter and they made that money because they worked hard. That is ludicrous. That no logical person would conclude that. Now, when they say there's a level playing field, that's total garbage. That's total garbage, and that's what people have to realize. It's not a total level playing field because of the way the bankers created the monetary system, and they basically designed money as debt. Then people that have the first access to money, which is always the 0.1% of the wealthiest in the country, they get the money when it's first created, when it's worth the most. In other words, because of the way the bankers set up the banking system and the global currency system, money is always devaluing and losing purchasing power over time. So by the time it trickles down, I'm sure you heard of this voodoo trickle-down economics that, like the Reaganomics that Reagan spoke about when he was U.S. president. By the time it trickles down, say, to the middle class, it's already lost like 40%. So when you lose 40%, what do you got to do? You got to make 80% just to get back to even. So these people have to make 80% just to get back to the starting line where the 0.1% of the wealthiest people started. And by the time it gets down to the poor, forget about it. Maybe it's worth 50%. So these people, when they get that money, they have to double, basically, anything that they invest in before they get back to the starting line. So the fact that we're playing on this even playing field is ludicrous. It is a total lie that bankers want you to believe. But their whole goal of the banking system is basically just to manipulate all capital markets so they can hoard all the wealth to themselves while they degrade the wealth of everyone else. And if you don't understand this, then you can sign up, because I speak about this in depth in my new Smart Knowledge U education course. I haven't had time to release it because I've been super busy at the start of this year, but it will be released at some point during the first quarter of 2015. And you can also go to my website, www.smartknowledgeu.com, and read the fact sheet, because I'm going to give away some free memberships to my online education course to people that perhaps don't have the money or the means to purchase the course for themselves. And the last thing I want to say is that times are hard for all of us. Yes, it's even hard for my company, and that's why you may have seen some of these videos I'm making, the blogs that I post online at www.smartknowledgeu.com/blog. My postings have become less frequent because I have been posting information basically for free and have spent thousands of hours for 9 years now, and not taking a single penny, not one penny of donations to work for thousands of hours for free. So if you have been someone that's benefited from all the free information I've posted for the past 9 years, this is the first time I've actually ever requested this in 9 years. Please do go to my blog page, again, www.smartknowledgeu.com spew.com/blog. And please do make us a donation, because without donations, I'm not going to be able to continue posting this information for free. So if you donate, then I can continue to basically have the make up for all the lost time that I don't devote to my company by making these video blogs, by writing information online, by writing my free newsletter. Otherwise, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut back significantly on all the information I post for free on all these accounts, because I do have to devote more time to my business, with the economy being so poor around the world. So if you're someone that has watched for a long time, realize we've been operating this for 9 years without a single penny of donation, so we would appreciate that. That's enough, okay, of that. So in the end, please do comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know, first of all, if you understand the fact that we are not on a level playing field because of the Ponzi scheme nature of this global banking system. Do comment below. Let me know if you understand that concept, because that's really important to me. Because if not, then I will make more videos trying to explain this to people, why we are not on a level playing field, why, and this is what also, let me know if you understand why the top of the pyramid, in that pyramid of wealth inequality, because you can't really say it's wealth equality, always get richer, while the middle class are sinking into the class of the poor, and the poor are basically becoming homeless and becoming food insecure. So if you understand why the system sets it up that way, then let me know, or comment below. Let me know why you don't understand that. That's the truth, because things are really, really getting ludicrous in a lot of countries today. They say when you poll people in America, that most Americans still classify themselves as middle class, because they think middle class now is if you earn 30 large or 30,000 of income or less. They classify that as middle class, which is crazy, because if you're earning 30,000 in any large metropolitan area in the United States, that is not enough to survive. Let me know again if you understand the concepts I'm talking about, and comment below. Let me know if you don't understand, what concepts you don't understand, what concepts you would like me to explain in further detail. Okay, thanks a lot for watching again today, and as always, remain intensely curious. And as the economy worsens, no matter what your president or prime minister is telling you that the worst is over, is not true, because you can see in the day-to-day economic struggles of people everywhere in the world. So do please remember to try to be a little bit more compassionate every day toward your fellow human being, because that will make life just a little bit better. Thanks a lot for watching. So long.